Well, it is literally one of the most famous roads in the world, a view of Abbey Road in northwest London. We will find the iconic recording studios, and I'm sure many of you know this is also the famous Beatles Zebra Crossing, as it is known. Many tourists try to replicate it, but keep in mind, this is also a very active road. Wouldn't be surprised if some locals maybe, he's got a Harry Potter tie, that guy there, Harry Potter tie on. Some people try to replicate what the Beatles are doing, but you can see the cars that are going through. I wouldn't be surprised if some locals, maybe the odd one, tries to play a game of chicken, with the tourists that try to get that amazing selfie there. But very cool indeed. And of course, this is the exact spot where the Fab Four stood for their Beatles Abbey Road album cover. It is hands down, in fact, one of the most famous album sleeves of all time. In fact, let me show you that, just for memory's sake. We'll pull it up, that image of the album cover, and you can see them walking across there. And I'm sure some of you maybe even have that album, sitting perhaps in the rec room, maybe in the attic. Oh, look at that. That's funny. I haven't seen that before, and I didn't see, well, I guess it's only Paul McCartney left to do that, but that's the album cover, of course, on that very same street. And, Abbey Road, which is, Abbey Road Studios is at 3 Abbey Road, to this day still records some of the biggest names in the business, including Adele most recently. But welcome aboard, my friends. Look at that, Friday! So good to have your company today. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. We've got a great show coming up for you. Lots to talk about, lots to do. If you're new to the program, we do this every Friday at 1 o'clock. And put a little asterisk and just put news so I know that you're new in terms of our community, our family that join. And we already have so many people. Barbara, by the way, Barbara Woods-Tennant was the first one to say hello in the green room before we officially started up. But we have Miranda and Star, Alan wishing everybody a good Friday afternoon, Rico, as well as Ron, Kim, Cindy, Sharon, and Sharon is joining us from Jamaica. Also Karen McDonald, Sue, Donna Smith is with us, as well as Alan. So we got a busy show. First, we're going to do the forecast. We have that today, and I have to tell you, it is anything but spring-like. Yes. It's going to be more like actually early February this weekend. And I don't know why I'm laughing at it, because truthfully, I am sick of it. But that is what we're going to be dealing with. We're talking, temperatures that'll be at least 10 degrees cooler than they should be, and some snow. But forget about that for now. Plus a brand new AKQ. I'm going to show you what could be the world's only flying dog. Very cool video. And we'll also open up the Nod to Nature file. I'll share with you an extraordinary and exciting underwater discovery. This is very cool, so we're glad to do that. We're also going to play Food, Fact, Fiction. But first, today is also a special day. Today marks our 50th episode. And some people already, saying that. Kim is saying happy 50th. Also, Rico says congratulations. So it's good to have everybody, look at that. Barbara said, isn't this great? We're on the 50th episode. Congratulations from Sue and Alan. And Christopher says, hi, Anwar and crew. Congrats on 50 wonderful shows. It's hard to believe, and the actual date was February the 26th of 2021 when we did our very first show, and we did it doing some ice fishing. And, we explored many adventures of all kinds. We also really pioneered something completely new, and that is trying to do a show on location. And there were some challenges, there were some growing pains, and there was a lot of investment. I put in a lot of money in trying to get some of the newer equipment and new technology to embrace this. And we've covered, or I should say uncovered, so many cool stories in those 50 episodes, right across the GTA. And all of it, do I have to mention, through the pandemic, which I think in itself is an achievement, because of course there are challenges. In fact, as we get, past 2-year mark, now there are indications that the wave is returning. We're starting yet another wave. I don't know, is this the 5th one now? I don't know. But that's something we're going to have to keep in mind in terms of, going forward. Are we going to be outside where the public is? We're watching it accordingly. But I wanted to share a very quick video, a little look back of the 50 episodes. And it's a very quick, not every episode is in there, but I just wanted to sort of, do a rewind, if you will. So, Jason, as they say, roll the tape. It's a real treat to have you here as we close out a week. And of course, we are streaming. Guys, what are we streaming? Live? Can I hear it? We are streaming? Oh, okay. So maybe I got the B team with me. It's that musty smell, but it's... Welcome to thy kingdom. This is also part of the history here of this region. This dates back to the 1880s. So indeed, thank you for your support, and a big thank you, of course, to my crew. You know, we have Ricardo on camera, including, of course, the terrific drone shots, Vern, the production assistant, Jason, our technical director, and Richard, capturing all the amazing images while we're on the road. So thank you to my crew for everything that you do and for believing in this project and what I'm trying to do. But of course, I have to say the most sincere thank you to you, the viewers. Many of you have literally been here since day one, since we started this idea. You know, I call it the little show that could, if you will. So thank you for that. I appreciate you giving some of your time and sharing your time with me each week, and in some cases twice a week. But this has been fun so far, right? So it's kind of cool stuff. And, you know, we have so many people that are sending in some messages. Madeline, by the way, says, wow, thanks for this. World's biggest Beatles fan here. I know there are many of them, so that was kind of cool. Alluding to the, of course, the walkway there. And Sheila Shola is saying happy 50th. And Danny's saying good day. And Lonnie says good afternoon. And crew, congrats on number 50. Also, Shar is giving us a round of applause. Cheryl says 50 looks good on you. Okay, I love it. Cindy says congratulations. So does Helen and Betty. Jane says congratulations. And also Janice. Boy, Anne says congratulations. Time flies. I know. Isn't that the truth? Time really flies. And, you know, and at the same time, it's like everything is a screeching halt, you know, because of the pandemic. But this has been a bright spot for me, and it looks like for you guys as well. So that is awesome. Penny Lynn says, well deserved. Laura says, yeah, you don't look a day over 25. Thank you. And louder, if you please. Linda says, congrats. Kathy says, CTV's loss is our great, enjoyable, informative gain. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Debbie says congratulations. So does Lois and Miranda. Such great shots. Amazing crew, Ron adds. And Christopher says no, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. And Cindy says nice to see the faces behind the scenes. Yeah, we don't get to see all of them all the time, do we? But you know, it really is a team effort. I happen to be in front of the camera, and as producers, certainly putting a lot of the elements together. But you know, without my guys, and I say guys because in this realm it really is all guys. I do have somebody working on the Saturday show, that campaign we're doing for Peel Crime Stoppers, Tracy, who's joining us as well. But generally speaking, it's a sausage party. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is. Yeah, Laura says bravo to the crew. Judy says, you turn lemons to lemonade. Good on you. You look so happy and always looking out for us. Congratulations on the big 50 to you and the crew. And, well, that's very nice. Thank you so much. And it leads me to the AKQ, by the way. And this one's a little bit different than what we normally do. So if you're new to the show, the AKQ, the Anwar Knight Query, I have a question, and I'm asking for your help. I want your feedback on what element do you enjoy the most. And I don't want this to be a praise fest. I really want to know, is it, you know, the fact that we go on location? Is it maybe the games that we play? I really enjoy, especially the one we're going to play today, Food, Fact, or Fiction. Is it the live connection, the fact that we can interact amongst each other and as well between you and I? Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's the stories that we uncover, the curtain we pull back. What element do you enjoy the most about this particular show? That's our AKQ today. And I look forward to your feedback because, you know, as we continue to strive to grow and maybe expand it, it's important to hear back from you, so let me know. And Peter says, congratulations, I can't wait to see you on the 100th episode. Wow. Well, we'll see how far we get, that's for sure. All right, let's continue here. This is a story I had to share with you. And, you know, I have to admit, when I first saw this, I did a double take. I said, this can't be real. I was sort of looking at my computer. I'm like, is that real? And sure enough, it is. It's a dog named Uka. He's a 3-year-old Samoyed, which is a herding dog. Beautiful dogs, though. He lives in France, and boy, does he get around. Take a look at this video here. And at first, you may think it's like a plush toy, but it's amazing. So I'll roll the video so you can see this. Because this dog actually paraglides. It is incredible to see how he just sort of sits there with his owner and takes to the skies. Look at this. And when I first saw it, I thought it looks like just a plush toy. But what happened, his owner is a filmmaker, and he actually posts a lot of his adventures on social media, and he's done this before, but this is the most recent one. He designed a specially made harness for his dog, and after a couple of months of training, off they went. And now they do these little adventures. And I have to be honest, like this, it doesn't look real. The dog doesn't seem to mind it. You know, at first, you know, I thought it was fake. Then I said, is this cruel? I don't know. The dog doesn't seem to be squirming or reacting. I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't know what the bond is. Apparently, this filmmaker has mentioned in interviews that the dog has changed his life in so many ways. He was in a dark spot. He didn't really reveal what it was. But it's different. And obviously, there's a trust there. But wow, they're just doing their thing. And the dog is fine. Even on landing, you know, the dog knows how to go on its legs and just sort of do a run stop, if you will. But pretty crazy stuff. Andrew says, and the Oscar goes to the Sausage Festival. There it is. Wow, knock that off that dog's bucket list. Yeah, maybe not. And Rico says the owner must have some treats. Well, at the very least, yes. You couldn't strap me into that. I'm not going off a cliff with him. But isn't that something? Giselle says that Pooch needs a helmet. Maybe that's something they'll consider. I'm not sure. But CE Snowflake says, you know, it's a lucky dog. Well, not many dogs get to do that, that's for sure. Kathy says, I love when you take us on different locations, even when we're not able to get there physically. You take us there virtually. Or sometimes it gives us ideas on where we can go. And it's a venue that we really didn't know existed. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Shar says locations, definitely. The learning of the facts that you research for us, live, seeing the other viewers' comments. That is a big thing for me, too, is the interaction. And that's what I think that makes this so special, right? Because conventional TV, they, of course, have bigger budgets and more resources, but you don't get that. You don't get, that connection. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that. Also, Catherine says local locations and interviewing interesting people in games. I would have loved to do more interviews and interaction with people, but because of the pandemic, we, of course, we're quite guarded. We don't want to physically put a mic on them. We're using the boom pole just for safety for everybody. Lonnie says, that is a hard one. I truly enjoy every minute of the show from when it starts until the end. So many informative and interesting topics. Love it all. Lois says locations. Helen says it's the locations you go and bring awareness to these beautiful places around the GTA. Always interesting facts. And Ann says, I enjoy the games and the fun facts. Miranda says going on location, learning new things every Friday. And Cheryl says Haley especially likes when you shout out to her live. So hello, Haley. It's good to have you watching us today. Happy Friday. We also have Terry joining us from Southern California. And, you know, this is another thing, right? I was doing some research and looking at some of the stats. I mean, we have viewers from about a dozen countries. Not necessarily every time live. They may watch it after the live because of time differences. But it's so cool. And I know on occasion we'll have people from different parts of the country, whether it's on the West Coast or the East, so I think it's all cool. And Kathy says, I love the history of the different locations. And Tammy says, all of the above, especially all the local locations. I love seeing and learning about our neighboring communities and parks. And that's what I think is so cool. There's stories there that never get told, right? And it could be something you drive by every day, or maybe you even go there every day, but you didn't know the story behind it, right? So I think that is kind of cool. Donna says the nod to nature and being live, always very informative. The nod to nature is pretty special to me. There's Terry. So Terry's joining us from California. Enjoy your location shots, especially since I'm in Cali. It's nice to see what's happening in your area. Well, we'd love a little bit of weather from your area right now, Terry. Can you push like maybe 10 degrees eastward into the lower Great Lakes? And Diane says, you are genuinely a nice guy, and it's a pleasure to hang out with you. Well, isn't that kind of you to say? I appreciate it. Giselle says, I love the connection with the viewers throughout the comments and the games or quizzes. And Jack says, looking good for 50. Haha. My 68th birthday is on Monday, and I feel blessed. Well, happy birthday. 68, that's awesome. And Sheila says, it's hard to choose just one, but I'll go with the games. I don't know. Ha ha ha. Well, the games are a big part for me as well, which is very cool. And I want to get into our next story, because this is another, about telling stories, right? This takes us to southeastern Australia. And it is in a nature park known as Mount Alexander. So some of you may be familiar with Australia, maybe you've been there. But this is a very cool nature park, because it's home to many iconic animals, found in Australia. Kangaroos are a staple there. And if you're very patient and quiet, you'll probably spot some koalas, wild koalas in this park. But most recently, there was a sheep there. A sheep was spotted in this park, and they figure likely it escaped from a nearby farm and somehow meandered in, and it was there. But the big story with this is that they believe this sheep escaped 6 years ago, because sheep are not normally there. And he was discovered by some hikers, and what stood out is that this poor guy, clearly, he had not been sheared in 6 years. So this was a problem. So thankfully the hikers, connected with a nearby animal sanctuary. Let me show you the picture here. So you can imagine, a sheep, it needs to, every season, it needs its coat removed, right? And this one escaped. So as you look at these pictures here, on the left is when they found him. And the moment they brought him in, they quickly cared for him, immediately removed the almost 90 pounds of wool from his back. And you can imagine, right, 6 years, so how matted, how dirty, and had bugs in it, and heavy, especially when it would get wet. And the vets believed that he was probably on the verge of death, but they saved him. They gave him intravenous, they started feeding him, they got the weight off him, and they named him. His name is Alex. And he has already now bonded with Chloe and Molly, the other two sheep, at this sanctuary. So a very happy ending to what could have been a very tragic story. But almost 90 pounds of wool on this animal found in this nature park. Is that not something? Wow. They say cats have 9 lives. This sheep certainly has at least 2. And I can't imagine how excited and happy just to get the weight off, almost 90 pounds. So great story there. It's always cool to see when humans and wildlife, in this case it was domesticated, it was a farm animal, but did the thing and cared for them. And he will live now the rest of his life at this sanctuary, which I'm sure will be pretty good. All right, we have a lot of other things we're going to do. We're going to play Food Fact or Fiction, plus the Nod to Nature file. We'll open that up. But I want to get to the forecast, because we have some very active weather yet again coming in. So let's start off by letting you know that the weather is brought to you by the Big Blue Marble Podcast. Listen along as I feature undeniable stories of our changing planet and the amazing people that are trying to save it. It's available now on your favorite podcast player. You also can go to www.bigbluemarble.earth or to my personal site at www.anwarknight.com. And there are some new episodes available. Look forward to connecting with you there. Now, as we get into our national map, there are a couple of things. There's a couple of systems that are moving in. There's a low over western Quebec, and it has a cold front that's pushing through, and it's generating some showers. There's not a lot with this. In fact, a lot of the energy is just south of the lower Great Lakes. But it's the second one, the second yellow. You can see the fronts there. That is going to push in for tomorrow, and it will bring with it some polar air. Again, as I mentioned off the top of the show, over 10 degrees below the norm for Sunday and certainly Monday, and also lake effect snow. It's all in the forecast. So let's break it down for you. We'll start off for the Toronto area. And overall, mainly cloudy. We may see a quick sunny break. Some areas in southern Ontario have enjoyed that. And then some scattered showers. I think for the most part, this is going to really happen towards the tail end of the drive home, so early evening. And 7 degrees is the high, westerly flow 20 to 40 kilometers an hour. Then cloudy with scattered snow showers by dawn, a little bit mixing going on, and then we'll get some rain out of it, 2 degrees. Rest of southern Ontario, variable cloudiness with scattered snow showers. Now, the wet snow will mix in, the further north you are in traditional, what we call cottage country, right? So it's a little bit colder there, so it'll mix in with some, wet snow. But we'll call it snow showers, 2 to 8 degrees, and then cloudy with scattered flurries, local fog patches, -3 in Haliburton, 0 in Windsor, and 2 degrees in Kingston for overnight lows. Winds are picking up 30 to 50 kilometers an hour. Now, into the weekend, you can expect, so for tomorrow, scattered snow showers very early in the morning, changes to showers. I think the wettest part of the day, if you want to do some errands or take the dog out, as we get to the 5-day forecast here, it's going to be likely around lunchtime for a few hours, okay? And you can expect a high of 6. It'll be drier for later in the afternoon, but the Arctic air is moving in. So you can see 6 is a high on Saturday, Sunday -1 is the high, and we'll get maybe a couple of these lake effect bands that'll punch into the GTA. So you could be driving in some areas and you go into this little zone where it's a burst of flurries and you come on the other side and there's not much there. But it's going to be more problematic in traditional snowbelt areas. But the overnight low -8. So Monday morning is going to be brutal as well. And we will see some sun -2, and then it warms up to around 2 degrees as we get into Tuesday. 2 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Nothing to brag about here, unfortunately, but that is what the trend is looking like, all right, for your forecast. As we continue to connect with you, Tammy says, love the interaction and the fun little games. And Kathy says, I love the fact or fiction. Barbara says, I love the accurate weather forecast segment and all the other segments too. Just love the enthusiasm. I appreciate that. And Peter says, I enjoy your content every time you are on. So, well, that's nice. So we're checking all the boxes. That's okay. I appreciate that. Jane mentions the locations you explore and the interaction with us and the people you come across on your explorations. I miss that. I really miss that interaction, just, meeting people out on the street or in a park and having a chat and getting to know them. But of course, we're still being a little, guarded. But we're hoping we can get to do more of that as the warmer weather comes in. And Kathy says, I love the nature factor any day of the week. And Giselle says, how wonderful that your viewers are in all parts of the world. Yeah, it is very cool. Andrea says, appreciate the interaction with others, but the best is your energy and your dog. My dog, Nova. Yeah, my dog, Nova, big part of the family. Oh, Terry says, I'll share my nice weather today. It's 84. And so as a result, she won't miss about 10 degrees out of that. Wow, okay. Now you're gloating. I don't know about that. Rico says, maybe we should all go to California. And Giselle says, I love the research and prep you do to bring intriguing tidbits that you share with us. And Kathy says, it is still March. That's true. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I have to think back now, statistically speaking, there has been some snow recorded on every month except the month of July in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. It's July or August. My gut is telling me it was July. Now, that is not to say it happens every year. That is not to say we get a lot. But yes, certainly March and April, we can get some snow. Doesn't mean that we have to like it, though, right? I mean, it means that we can push forward here and think warm thoughts. Oh, man. And by the way, we have some people watching us on YouTube live, which is also something that we've grown to. So I want to say hello to you. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We really appreciate that as we continue to grow here. You guys ready to play Food Fact? Oh, let me make it official. Are you guys ready to play
Food Fact or Fiction?
Okay, let's roll it, Jason. Let's get into our music and let's play a game and let's set this weekend right. We'll end Friday on a happy note. This is a very easy game to play. If you're new to it, I have a food-related question, and you simply tell me whether it is a food fact, which would be true, or food fiction, which would be false. So food, fact, or fiction, and then please put the number of the question to your answer, just in case. I'm trying to get to as many people as I can, but I want to make sure that you're responding to the one, and I'm calling it out, whether it's question number 1, 2, 3, or 4. All right, so here we go. By the way, Jody says, good afternoon from snowy Beatrice in Muskoka. Enjoy your shows. Good to have you from Muskoka, and keep the snow there, please. All right? All right. Question number 1, guys. Here we go. Food, fact, or fiction. More people die by falling coconuts than sharks. So question number 1, more people die by falling coconuts than sharks. Food, fact, or fiction? That's question 1 is on the board. Rico says it's a fact. Rico says, I'm just reading Kathy, I guess the common denominator is you, Anne, or you are the one who makes it all happen and special. You're almost going to make me tear up. Thank you for that. Cindy says fact, so food fact. And Linda says food fact. Terry says fact. Giselle says fiction. Lonnie says true. Oh, wow, there's so many coming in here. Hang on, let me scroll back here. So Anne says fiction, Lois says fact, Catherine says fact, so does Alan, Diane, Norita says fact, and Matthew says fact or true. Kathy says fact. Tammy Noen says fiction. Miranda says fact. Savetka says fact. Christopher says fact. Angelica, Joanne, Andrea, everybody's saying fact. Glenn, Douglas, Lori, Kathy, holy smokes. It looks like everybody thinks we have killer coconuts on the planet. Well, the actual answer is, it is a fact. Yes, so congratulations to all of you. Now, it's interesting that some think tank did some studies on this. They estimate about 150 people are killed by falling coconuts every year versus about 10. And this is, I guess, globally. But I did not know that a coconut tree on average, about 30 coconuts a year, but if the weather's right, more than double. 75 coconuts. That is a real risk, right? I was like, holy smokes. So we had a lot of people said fact on that. I thought it was interesting, but I'll tell you, that would hurt. Next time I see a coconut tree, if I ever get to the tropics again, I'll be looking out for it because they're pretty big, right? Depending on the height of the tree, that could hurt. All right, let's go to question number 2. Here we go. The S in the processed canned meat known as Spam stands for salted. Food, fact, or fiction? Again, this is question number 2. The S in the processed canned meat known as Spam stands for salted. Food, fact, or fiction? Food, fact, or fiction? So this is question number 2. We're playing Food, Fact, or Fiction here on the Here and There show, and very easy. You just let me know the number of the question that you're responding to and tell me if it's a food, fact, or fiction. So here we go. Rico's on the board for fiction. Nancy says false. Cindy says fiction. Marilyn says fiction. Joyce says fiction. Hold on, boy, it's going so quick. Rico, you said shoulder pork with ham. Maybe. Who knows? Linda says fiction. Steven says fiction. So does Terry. Giselle says fact. Narita says fiction. Kathy says fiction. Fictions. C.E. Snowflake says fact. Matthew says fiction. Barbara says fact. Kathy says fiction, and so does Lonnie. And Jack says fiction. So does Anne. And Lori says it is a fact. Glenn says fact. I'll do 2 more. Penny Lynn says fact. And also, sorry, it's just going so quick. I want to make sure I get to as many people here. Tammy says fiction. Christopher says, who cares? It's horrible. Fiction. Well, that's funny you say that because I can honestly say I have never eaten or tried Spam in my life before. The actual answer for this question is fiction. Yes. Now, I should qualify this. There is a slight debate on it, but it is generally accepted that it is short form for spiced ham. All right, that's what the S stands for, spiced ham. But during World War II in the UK, it was an acronym that stood for Special Processed American Meat. You see that? Special processed American meat. Now, there are 13 different varieties of Spam, and there you have it, but I've never tried it. So it is indeed fiction. That's question number 2. Congratulations to everybody who got that. This is question 3. Remember, no cheating, right? Nobody's Googling, right? Just want to make sure. Food fact or fiction, number 3. The original Haagen-Dazs ice cream recipe was created by a teacher in Germany. This is question number 3. The original Haagen-Dazs ice cream recipe was created by a teacher in Germany. Food fact or fiction? This is question number 3. C.E. Snowflake, by the way, says Spam was our staple at home when we were kids as a Sunday morning treat with eggs. I think that still happens to this day to some extent. Lorna says it's gross, don't try it. Cheryl says fact, so does Giselle. This is question number 3. Terry Moore says fact. Miranda says fact. Savetka says fact. Diane says fiction. Narita says fact. Marilyn says it is a fact. True for question number 3. Douglas says fact. C.E. Snowflake says fiction. And Lori says fact. The question again, the original Haagen-Dazs ice cream recipe was created by a teacher in Germany. Food fact or fiction? So again, we have a number of facts. Barbara, Alan, Joanne, Christopher, Anne, Penny Lynn, all saying fact. So does Kathy. So does Kathy Morris and Kathy Virch. All saying fact. We'll do 2 more. Angelica says fiction. And Peter Zim says fact. And the answer is... I'll do a drum roll. Fiction! Oh, booyah! Yeah, actually, 100% American-made and created. It started in 1921 in New York. It's really a cool story, actually. Reuben and Rose Mattis. They had an ice cream shop, and Reuben made it up. And according to his daughter, she said that Dad just one day on an afternoon started writing all these crazy words, trying to come up with something that really stood for something that was exotic and different. And he came up with Haagen-Dazs and thought the name symbolized an aura of the old world traditions and craftsmanship. And I think he nailed it, right? It does sound, of course, it comes from Europe, but it's not. It was in America, in New York, to be precise. So very cool. Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I'll tell you, that is a tasty treat. That is some yummy aura. So we can thank Reuben for that. Kathy says, no way. I almost had 3 for 3. There you have it. Also, Giselle says, yikes, I was 0 for 3. Well, that means you weren't cheating at least, so that's good. Here's our last one, guys. Question number 4. A single piece of pasta from a bowl of spaghetti is called a spago. A single piece of pasta, this is question number 4, from a bowl of spaghetti is called a spago. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Food fact or fiction? This is question number 4, final round. Question number 4. And Cheryl says, wow, I'm so surprised. Penny Lynn says, oh no, did test being wrong. And also Joyce says for the AKQ, I especially enjoyed the Cullen Garden episode. I used to take my kids off and never got to take the grandchildren before it closed. That was a fun location that we did for sure. So let's get back to the game here. On the board, so Cindy says fiction, Sheila says fiction, Matthew says fact, Ron says, oh, going too fast here, let me go back. Let me scroll back here. So Kathy says fact, Ron says fact, Joyce says fact, Catherine says fiction, so does Kathy Murray, Christopher says fiction, Kathy Woolley says fiction, Lori says fact, Miranda says fact, so does Angelica, and Diane says fiction, Joanne says fiction, Marilyn says fiction, Jack says fact, Alan says fiction. The question again, a single piece of pasta from a bowl of spaghetti is called a spago. We'll do a couple more. Lonnie says fiction, never heard of it. Lois says fiction, Tammy says fact, Anne says fact, and Douglas says fact. So C.E. Snowflake says, I'm checking people's answers with an Italian surname and stealing their answers so fast. Well, good for you. I don't know if it's going to help you, though. The actual answer is fiction. Fiction. It is not true. It's actually called spaghetto. Spaghetto, as in spag-ghetto. And, I can tell you right now, I will literally never utter spaghetto again after this game, because there's no way I'm only eating one piece of pasta, right? When it comes to spaghetti, no, I want the full deal here, not just the one. But apparently it comes from spago, which means string in Italian, and spaghetto means little strings. So spaghetti, lots of little strings, spaghetto. And according to the language rule, it also applies to cannoli, which is cannolo, and gnocchi is gnocco. I didn't know this, but who the hell is just eating one? Like, why do you need it, right? Do you ever go to a restaurant? Yeah, I'll just have one gnocco, please. Just a gnocco. Anyway, there you go. So congratulations to those who, at least got half right. Margaret says, well, the Italians certainly know for sure. Rico says, so much food talk today. And Nancy says, 3 out of 4 correct. New record for me. Well, then you're getting better. Look at that. And listen, I guarantee some of you will at least repeat that one tonight, with your family at dinner. Remember, it's, what was it again? I forgot. Yeah, spaghetto. Spaghetto. Not spaghetti, spaghetto for one, all right? So that's something maybe you can have a bet on or something like that. Good thing I'm not playing baseball. I'd be out. 3 wrong, 1 right, says Joyce. All right, let's get into our nod to nature, guys. I wanted to share this with you before we wrap up. An international team of scientists have just announced the discovery of a stunning tropical fish, and you have to really see this to believe it. So take a look at this video. The colors on it, it just blew me away, and that's what attracted me automatically when I saw this, when I was doing some research. It's like, what is that? So take a look at this video. It is officially called the rose-veiled fairy wrasse. And it's found only in what is called the twilight reefs, the coral habitat that thrives 100 to 300 feet under the ocean's surface. And yes, it is small, but wow, this thing is so beautiful. And the name was inspired by the national flower of the Maldives, the pink rose. And although there are hundreds of species of fish found off the coast of Maldives, this is the first one to be recognized as a new species by Maldivian researchers. So there's a nice connection, certainly to the region, which I thought was cool. Certainly some pride for the team. And there's a partnership with researchers going on there, and to have a better understanding and protecting the coral reefs around the world. Certainly another worthy entry in our Nod to Nature file. Again, it's the rose-veiled fairy wrasse. Almost looks a little bit like a goldfish, but this is anything but. Is that not just beautiful how nature works? Man, I'll tell you, when you have a bad day, for me, it's connecting with nature, and everything seems to get a little better. Now, listen, if you like what we're doing, please send me a parade of hearts, likes, and shares. I want to remind very quickly that tomorrow we have that special edition show for 4 Saturdays. It is the Peel Crime Stoppers Senior Care Live Tour. I hope you can join me tomorrow morning. We're live at 10 o'clock as we continue a 4-week campaign engaging, empowering, and educating seniors in a variety of topics. We had so much fun last Saturday. We got some great tips on cyber and telephone fraud. Tomorrow we're going to highlight safety tips for inside and outside of the home. We'll have a doctor join us from Trillium Health with tips on fall prevention, which is a very, very important subject. Falls are the leading cause of hospital visits involving seniors, so we look forward to finding out more about that. And we're also going to meet the world's oldest siblings. So much more tomorrow live at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I hope you can join me. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for your support. Again, parade of hearts, share, and follow my page. And if you're watching live on YouTube, thank you for that. Like and please subscribe to my channel as we continue to grow. Hope to see you tomorrow. If not, have yourself a wonderful, safe weekend, and we look forward to your company next Friday, right here and there. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.